welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. What a beautiful moment to celebrate, especially in honoring all of the radiant souls who are part of the Living Wisdom community. I'd like to invite all of us to start the morning with a moment of reflection, gratitude, and blessing. Please offer a wish or a prayer in the words of your own heart, specifically for this group of young people for whom we've gathered this morning. If you feel so inclined, you're welcome to join me in offering this prayer, which I'll say aloud, which is inspired by the source of inspiration of living wisdom as it expresses through our school. Otherwise, pray quietly or offer an intention in the words of your own heart. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, wise teachers of every tradition, join us today in celebration. Thank you for the blessing of this school in all our lives. Guide each of us into a deeper understanding of our truest selves. Help us to develop the wisdom, the kindness, and the strength to be channels of light in this world. Om. Peace. Amen. Well, today is quite a day. The spirit of living wisdom is alive in all of our hearts and in the hearts of every living being. It expresses uniquely in every soul. And here we see education as a journey of exploration and understanding and wisdom and all of the soul qualities that lead us to lasting joy and fulfillment. At Living Wisdom and through mathematics, we learn clarity of thought, logic, and creative expression. Through language, we come to celebrate the beauty and power of communication. Through the arts, we create and we find meaning. Through the sciences, we come into sacred relationship with our world, our universe, and ourselves. Through meditation, we cultivate intuition and inner peace. And through community, we learn to arrive as we are, and with a readiness to transform our limitations into soul qualities that will bring us more and more into self-realization. As we transform our consciousness, we are increasingly able to be channels of light into this world. Living Wisdom students, friends, may you always have the courage to grow, to understand more deeply, and to expand your sympathy. And may your love grow to embrace all living beings. May you all be warriors of light. This year, we have had quite an extraordinary adventure, and one that was filled with unexpected twists and turns. Each one of us has faced countless challenges, and we have all embraced the opportunity to raise our energy and our consciousness to bring greater love, to seek solutions, and to be empowered in our resilience. We all now have the sacred responsibility to use our lives to seek joy and to share that joy with everyone around us. I would like to take this moment to offer deep gratitude to all of the teachers and mentors who have danced through this year with flexibility and creativity and an unwavering commitment to serving our students and families. From the bottom of my heart and all of our hearts, thank you. And to our families, we offer a tremendous expression of gratitude as well for joining us in creating a community of learning that is safe and joyful and transformative. We look forward to all the years to come and all the ways that we can serve many bright souls together. The Living Wisdom Quality Ceremony, which you will experience today, is a long-standing tradition in which each student is honored for a quality that they have developed throughout the year. Sometimes these qualities flow effortlessly through the student. Sometimes, though, a tremendous amount of conscious effort has gone into cultivating and manifesting the quality for which the student is celebrated. Shanti will be introducing our first speakers today. Shanti, the floor is yours.
Our first speaker today is Audie Wu. Audie has completed 9th grade. Audie, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of authenticity. Congratulations.
Thank you, Shanti. I have attended Living Wisdom School since the 3rd grade, and by each quality I've received, I was always surprised in some way or another. However, this year, marking my 7th at Living Wisdom, my quality of authenticity felt fitting and word. Right, natural. However, I couldn't put my finger on exactly why. So I reflected on my freshman year at Living Wisdom School, and yet I didn't find any major events where I exhibited the quality. So I did what I do in these trying times, beg Hazi for help. He refused to give me a concrete answer, and instead asked me what I think about the quality. This made me think, and I realized that I value authenticity more than I was aware, which Hazi confirmed was the reason why I received it. To me, to live without authenticity is to live without freedom. In particular, without authenticity, no real connections can be made with other people, as all time together will be spent getting to know personas, not people, or worse, brown-nosing and lying through forced smiles for the sake of politeness. Moreover, after talking to more people and reflecting, I've come to realize that many of my characteristics that I associate with other qualities actually are how I express my authenticity. My love of hip hop and crafting it, my opinions that I get loud about whenever a discussion presents itself, the lighthearted way in which my friends and I constantly make fun of each other, I realize are all ways I express authenticity. I once read a quote by Andre Gide that stuck by me. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Emma Lenchenkova. Emma has completed 9th grade. Emma, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of joie de vivre. Congratulations.
When I first received this quality, I was confused. Me? Having joie de vivre? How on earth had that happened? Although I didn't exactly see this quality within myself, I knew a friend, Chloe, who literally exemplified this quality. She was the definition of a ball of sunshine, ebullient and always joyful. I, on the other hand, was not. However, as I got used to the idea, I found it a bit more agreeable. The thing is, joie de vivre means joy of life in French. However, joy really depends on the person. Yes, some people are naturally bubbly and happy all the time. But joy can be a quiet enthusiasm, or the soft, glowing feeling when you pursue something you love. It can be the feeling of wholeness, laughing with friends on a summer day, or trying something new. Like I said, it all depends. I suppose that I do exhibit joie de vivre, despite my initial reservations. It peaks out in the numerous interests, the curiosity, the general enjoyment of life. From dancing to reading to writing and researching, the soft pull feeling is there, camouflaged in different forms as it may be. I've begun to notice little things that spark joy, and although that may never be an eternal state of happiness, to me, this is what constitutes joie de vivre. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Diana Kumrin. Diana has completed 10th grade. Next year, she will be attending Bard College at Simon's Rock. Diana, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of freedom.
Thank you, Madonna. So one part of my family's shelter-in-place routine has been going to Phil's Coffee, practically every day. We're probably their best customers by now, as all of the baristas know us by name, and we no longer have to specify whose online order we're picking up. One time, not too long ago, the three of us were chatting in the canopied courtyard probably about how in the world will I make money and be a writer or an artist or whatever unlucrative profession I am bound to choose. I said, well, that's easy. I will marry somebody insanely wealthy, mostly as a joke. But my mom said, no, you wouldn't. You would not be happy being financially dependent on anybody. And you know, she's right. I have always enjoyed my freedom. My parents tell me when I was a little baby, I would cry out of frustration because my muscles weren't developed enough to lift my head up and walk on my own. When I was in the 5th grade, I insisted on bicycling myself to school so that I could have independence over my transportation. It was around this age that I also began coloring my hair all different hues, asserting freedom over my body. This sort of freedom of independence in my personal expression came very naturally to me. In middle school, however, I had to learn, as we all have to learn during the silliness of pubescent years, to be free from others' judgment. I was practically the only visibly and vocally queer person in my grade, and although I had my friends' support, I needed to become my own representation. By accepting the parts about me that were different from everybody else, I gained freedom from negative opinions. Being different in a conformist environment like middle school also catalyzed my self-awareness by forcing me to process what the culture says is good or bad. I actually owe a lot of my present day confidence, empathy, and questioning of normalcy to the bullies who teased me for looking gay. I came to Living Wisdom in my freshman year because I was curious about something new. I am very, very thankful for the environment Living Wisdom has provided for me to continue exploring my inner world, my values, my methods of thinking, and unpacking the ideas I have about how high school and greater adolescence are supposed to look. The longer I have stayed at Living Wisdom, the more I adore our family at Coverly, but also the stronger I know that there is something else for me. So I'm dropping out of high school! Well, not exactly. In 2 months, I will start school at Simon's Rock, which is an early college for students who would like to exert freedom over their education. It will be my next exploration into learning, where I hope to discover belonging and self-realization, but I know it will not be the last place I look. I am far too independent to pick a new place and then finally be happy. But I'm okay with that. I know I will probably end up building the community and environment fit for me instead of magically falling into its lap. And along the way, I will reassess, reevaluate, discover, break down, and build back up just as I've done in my first 16 years. Thank you.
Congratulations, Diana. Our next speaker is Mayra Alejandra Reyes Baltazar. Mayra has completed 10th grade. Mayra, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of kindness.
When I first received my quality of kindness, I thought to myself, why? I was surprised and unsure that this was a quality which fitted me most. I'm usually being told by my brother that I'm either mean or annoying, and that I should be nicer to him since he's older. But then again, that's my brother. I don't know, I've always just considered his opinion to be fact, seeing as we've lived together our whole lives and he knows me best, right? But after being honored with this amazing quality, I realized that it's not completely true. Yes, I'm still mean to him, but not as frequently as before. And I've been trying my best to reduce the annoyance I cause. Perhaps it's an environment which has helped me treat others with more respect, and the kindness everyone has shown me at this new school. I'm not quite sure. What I am sure of is that if I'd like to be treated with kindness myself, I must express it to others as well. Although I'll admit, I'm not the type to just compliment a person on the street or be positive all the time. I like to keep to myself, and some would even suggest that I'm shy. But when I'm approached, I do my best to treat them with the kindness they deserve. I try to think of other people's feelings rather than just my own. I may not be the best at expressing my kindness so vividly like the rest, but I'm always looking at different ways to help people in any way I can, whether it's with advice, concerns, opinions, or problems. Besides, what are the benefits of being me? I guarantee that both you and the other individual will feel much lighter as you express or experience kindness. It's an outstanding source of motivation and positivity.
Congratulations, Mayra. Our next speaker is Alisa Ivanov. Alisa has completed 11th grade. Alisa, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of self-awareness. Congratulations.
My name is Elisa Ivanov, and this is my second year attending Living Wisdom High School. I am a junior. As many of you know, I am diagnosed as having bipolar disorder, which is what led me to attend Living Wisdom High School. In what seemed like a series of unfortunate events, I actually got to attend a school that I love and am eternally grateful for. The support that Living Wisdom offers and the way they genuinely care about each student individually is unrivaled by any school I've ever been to. The quality that has been noted in me this year is self-awareness. When I first heard this, I wasn't sure it struck something inside of me or that I connected to it. But upon more reflecting, I realized this couldn't be more true. Experiencing the full extent of symptoms of bipolar disorder over my teenage years, I have felt like a different person each year, if not every few months. This is not to say that most people don't go through changes as a teenager, but mine were much more drastic, with my personality flip-flopping back and forth constantly. Many people are against diagnoses, as they believe they put people in a box and give them a label they can't break free of. I experienced the opposite. Receiving my diagnoses at the end of summer, I felt set free. I finally understood why I was the way I was, and that I wasn't fundamentally a bad person. I was just made differently than other people. And knowing this about myself helped me have much more clarity this year with every decision and every mistake I made. This year, I am aware of my strengths and weaknesses, which is an improvement from always either seeing my flaws or feeling like I could do anything without consequences. So again, thank you to everyone who has supported me this year and allowed me, and continues to allow me, to make mistakes for the sake of learning. You offered understanding to my flaws and honored my successes. It has been invaluable to have a support team rooting for me every step along the way this year, as I've become more of the person I want to be. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hari Iyer. Hari has completed the 11th grade. Hari, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of purity of heart.
I remember when I first went to Living Wisdom High School, I was really nervous. My principal Kabir treated me with so much kindness. He really knew where my strengths and weaknesses were, and he treated me with so much of kindness. He was one of the most nicest human beings I had met. He really helped me when I was really unhappy and had a traumatic experience in my previous school. Everyone in the school greeted me with kindness. I have never gone to a school where everyone is so kind. A year later, I was unhappy that Kabir was leaving, but when I suddenly realized that my new principal, Shama, was just as kind as Kabir, it was really cool that the one who brought Living Wisdom School students to Living Wisdom High School for service projects actually happened to be the principal of our school the next year. At Living Wisdom High School, I really care about other people more than myself. I have demonstrated this year that I can be a leader. I originally was really quiet last year. It was really hard for me to be a leader because I would talk to no one. This year, I have done my best to connect with other people. Next year, I am really excited because my brother is joining Living Wisdom High School. That makes me feel more strong. I also want to set a good example for the new students next year. Living Wisdom High School has made me what I didn't expect. Starting a chess club with Tobias, Emma, and my teacher Hazi, creating a Discord group with Iris, Myra, Audie, Diego, and Armand, shooting some hoops, running cross country, playing chess with everyone, and most importantly, having such amazing teachers that help me in my work when I struggle. I also really appreciate how much my principal Shama has done for me. Not only has she pushed me off my comfort zone this year, but she is one of the kindest human beings I know, just as Kabir. It has been really fun, by the way, chatting with my former principal Kabir from India on FaceTime, telling him all the good news. Our final get-together was really fun when we both got to eat in Coldstone and chat about life. I have had a great year, and I know next year will be as good as this year. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Pavel Kozuharov. Pavel has completed the 11th grade. Pavel, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of truth-seeking.
Open-minded people embrace being wrong, are free of illusions, don't mind what people think of them, and question everything, even themselves. Truth-seeking comes from the realization that a lot of the information we gather is incomplete or wrong. Our subconscious soaks up everything while trying to find patterns. It's our conscious job to filter. Truth-seeking is disciplining one's mind to decompose information, weed out falsehoods, and incorporate the remaining useful information. There are two extremes, questioning everything and questioning nothing. Truth-seeking is about knowing what to spend your time on analyzing. In life, we often face challenges requiring us to process information at a fast rate. In these scenarios, our subconscious suggests a course of action in the form of a hunch. These intuitions can lead to success or failure. The outcome is a result of the conscious effort made to filter misinformation. I sometimes think of the subconscious like a supercomputer. If given the right information, it can become a powerful tool for anything requiring quick decisions. It can provide music or intense situations involving fight or flight. True information doesn't come labor-free. I research and study raw data and use logic in order to come to a conclusion. I also look for multiple competing perspectives. Everyone feels right in their own perspective, so it is helpful to be able to see their point of view. True active listening requires putting yourself in another person's shoes. When this practice is really used, it can also show you the best way to resolve a conflict, and I've used this in my own life. The hardest time to be truthful is when analyzing yourself. The truth seeking involved in self-perfection is the highest form I know.
Our next speaker is Tobias Squire. Tobias has completed the 11th grade. Tobias, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of friendship.
Thank you, Ozzy. Friendship is a difficult word to define, and I feel like we all experience it in slightly different ways, and we may have our own different definitions. Yet it seems like such a natural thing. Friendship is the result of spending time connecting with someone and deepen through experiences in which both people grow to understand each other better. But a friend doesn't necessarily have to be human. It can be an animal or perhaps even an inanimate object, but it can also be yourself. A good friend to me is someone who understands me, who's compatible with me, someone who I enjoy being around. This year I felt friendship in many different ways, through talking with Maya and Iris, playing chess with people, especially Hari, playing card games with the group, and even playing chess with the kids in chess club. Friendship can be really important. People with a sense of community even tend to live longer in general. On the global scale, people tend to perceive countries as being either friends or enemies based on connections between their leaders or government. These friendships can be very important. It can decide whether there's a war or not, for example. Things like the League of Nations sought for a world where global leaders get along, in a way for the friendship of all countries, or a world without needless war. I'd say there's a fine line between being friends and enemies. Both require an already existing connection between people. However, one is positive and one is negative. Sometimes an existing friendship can slip away and people can suddenly become enemies. I've experienced it personally. The same thing can apply to a global community. All humans have an existing connection in a way, being the same species and all. I hope that one day the world will understand the importance of friendship.
Congratulations, all of you. Beautiful presentations, so much wisdom flowing through each of your souls. What comes next is a presentation that has been prepared with great love for all of us to enjoy, but especially for this group of students who've spent the 2019-2020 year together at Living Wisdom. It's been a glorious year. Please enjoy this presentation before we start our graduation ceremony.
So we have a slideshow prepared for you. And while putting the slideshow together, it was really challenging to narrow out some of the photos because there were so many amazing moments this year that were captured. And so the slideshow is 6.5 minutes long. It's a little long, but I hope you enjoy it.
Congratulations, Adi.
Dear Emma, we are
We are so proud of you.
Good job, Diana.
Congratulations, chula. Deseamos que el próximo año te vaya mucho mejor que este, que sabemos que fue muy duro, pero saliste adelante, vencedora.
Mami, yo te deseo que sigas hacia adelante y que nunca te des por vencida, que todo lo hagas en nombre de Cristo Jesús. Amén, mami.
Congratulations, Hari.
We're very proud of you.
Congratulations, Toby, you've come a long way.
Congratulations, Tobias, you made it.
Congratulations, Elisa.
Congratulations, Elisa.
Hi, Pavel. Congratulations for the incredible year. You grew tremendously as a person. You found your passion with the guitar, and you evolved as independent thinker. We wish you interesting and exciting summer.
Congratulations, Diego. You finished 13 years of school and you're ready to go off to college. We know that this has been a great experience at Living Wisdom and we feel like you're ready. You've learned how to ask for help when you need it, how to try new things, how to be yourself, and how to be happy with who you are. We're so proud of you and we know you're going to do great.
Congratulations, Diego.
We love you.
We are so proud of you, Armand. Congratulations. This is the beginning of a new journey. We will now embrace the future bravely. It feels like the other day when I drove you to meet Mr. Kabir McDowell, the principal of Living Wisdom High School. And now you are a distinguished graduate who managed to complete early without compromising the grades. The path through life is complicated and hostile. I encourage you to try to excel in anything you do. We are confident that you will succeed when you put your mind and soul with the help of the Almighty. Finally, remember all those who helped you learn new topics or skills to make you who you are today. And our unconditional love will always be there to the last day. Congratulations, son.
Hi, Lindsay. Love that you enjoyed learning this past year, and my wish for you is that you continue to love learning while you're in school and beyond.
Linspins, I can't believe we're finally here at the end of your high school years, and yes, I'm gonna cry. So proud of you. I admire your resiliency to get through this, and I'm so looking forward to your next chapter. Sorry for embarrassing you. Always, I love you.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, everyone! I'm so grateful for all the joy and laughter we shared this year together. I wish you all luck.
Congratulations, everyone. You did it.
Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, everyone. You all are so awesome. Seniors, I wish you all the best in your journeys ahead.
Congratulations, Living Wisdom High School graduates. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what bright futures await you.
Congratulations, Living Wisdom High School.
What an unforgettable year. Congratulations, everybody. You made it. That was beautiful. What a testament to the community and the growth and the joy and all of the opportunities to rise up and become more connected with ourselves and with our community. Well, when Living Wisdom School began to make plans to establish a high school, Kabir McDowell was the soul who answered the call. And he was the powerhouse of inspiration and determination that helped to manifest Living Wisdom High School of Palo Alto. His love and dedication have touched all of our lives, whether directly or indirectly. Last fall, when he transitioned to India to continue bringing the principles of education for life into the public school system in New Delhi, we sent him off with great love and deep friendship. It's really our joy to have Kabir with us live today. Because we were unsure of the reliability of the internet connection, Kabir has pre-recorded a message for our graduates and all of our students and families. Thank you, Kabir, from the bottom of our hearts, for a lifetime of friendship and support and inner growth.
Well, good morning, perhaps good afternoon. You know, it's a really wonderful feeling to be there with you. Of course, I'm 3,000 or more miles away in Delhi, India, where I've been working with groups of children, up to about 1,500 of them actually, developing new education for life schools and so forth. But you know, there's a big part of my heart that's still there with you all, because we sort of grew up together a little bit. And I remember many, many different times I was with each one of you. And sometimes where there were challenges, sometimes where there was so much joy and love. And you became a part of the heart that I carried with me and I carry continually throughout this life. And I thank you for that. Truly, it's a blessing. And I feel very honored, again, to be with you at this momentous occasion, especially honoring Armand and Iris and Diego and Lindsay for their wonderful success, but equally wonderful honoring each of the rest of you. Diana and Emma and Adi and Myra, Elisa, Hari, Pavel, Tobias. Wonderful souls, each and every one of you. Now the good news, two parts of good news, is that I have a lot to share. So many words of wisdom that I want you to all hear. Part two of the good news is that I'm not going to share it. So I think your sigh of relief, right? But when I was, I think about 20, 21, something like that, I had shown an interest in working with children. I had an interest in working with children. And I went to a particular kind of a camp, a school, a facility maybe it was, for very disturbed children and disabled in a variety of different ways. And there were many kids of many different needs, and in the midst of them, I saw this one little girl. She's only about this big, maybe this big. Tiny little thing, maybe 2 or 3 years old only, sitting there and seemingly oblivious to everything that was happening around her, drooling out of the side of her mouth, just completely lethargic and seemingly unconscious, just sitting up, not caring about anything. People would ignore her because she looked more like a vegetable than a human being. But somehow there was something in my heart that was drawn to this being. And I went to her and I picked her up. She was so small I could put her in one hand, and I held her up over my head. I kept her balanced. And in that moment, she had sensed that she was being lifted or given some attention. She opened her eyes, and I was a little bit shocked, in fact. She opened her eyes, and she looked down at me. And she smiled. Smiled with her face, her mouth, her eyes. There was consciousness in this being. Outwardly seemed like a vegetable. But when she opened her eyes, I saw a being. I saw what one might call, for my first experience, a soul that came through those eyes. It changed my life because I saw that, my goodness, if this little one could be so far removed from the reality of what's going on around her, and yet still have the joy and the love and the feeling of wanting to connect, what more might she have inside? There is a potential, not only in her, also in myself, and in each and every one of us, that seems to be somewhat buried. We project a certain persona. We interact in a certain way. We think of ourselves with a very limited understanding of who we truly are. The world keeps telling us you should work to your potential and then you'll be fine. Problem is, most of the world has no idea what your potential is. They can only perceive to the point where they have been able to see their own potential and to feel it, to really perceive it, other than an academic exercise. Your potential, my friends, is tremendous. I know that from being with you and going through some of those adventures with you to see if we could help to awaken that potential in you. But that's not an easy journey. It's academic, yes, of course. That's sort of what people think of as education, give you lots of knowledge, prepare you for the exams that you're going to be having in your life, tests rather, SATs, getting as close to 4.0 or 4.2, whatever it is, that you can. People often speak about the potential for being truly happy. That sounds good. There is a potential for being truly happy on a long-term basis, no matter what else is going on in our lives. But how many understand that? It has been assumed and hoped that what we do in the external world will lead to our long-term happiness. Thus the big push. And the big fear behind not accomplishing the best SATs, the best scores, the best colleges, the best results and best jobs. There's a lot of fear built up in this world around that, including here in India. In fact, even more so than in America. There's the expectation that external world success leads to the greatest happiness. And do you know, in the science of happiness, what they have seen is that your external world experiences only accounts for 10% ability to predict your true happiness. People who have a lot of money and a lot of success generally aren't all that happy. Sometimes, in 10% of the cases. 90% of your long-term happiness is not predicted by external experiences, but by internal. Thus, meaning how you respond, how your brain relates to those external things. What's the consciousness behind the brain, within the brain? 90%. We live in a world that has been hypnotized by this idea of success equals achievement in the exterior world. And that had to break down, and look what's happening now. There has been a major shift in this whole planet, as you well know, as we all know. We're in lockdown here too. I've been in our house mostly for 3 months. Well, you know, what happens is that we're in a world that is so ingrained into us, these certain particular kinds of thoughts and influences, that we don't even notice anymore. We don't even think twice about it anymore. We just assume that that's our reality. So we shut down awareness and perception. The good thing about what's going on today in this world with this virus and other things that are a result of that, that everything has been stopped a little bit, slowed down, so people can reflect a little bit more on what is the reality. What's education? What's the potential for happiness? What gives happiness? We're all rethinking our lives, meaning what kind of thoughts have we been harboring related to our formula for success and happiness. The way that we embrace the world, the way that we look at it, the thoughts that we have as we're entering into a new situation helps to determine our success in that situation. Optimism. Optimism based on experience. Optimism based on understanding of certain principles, understanding people, understanding ourselves. A deeper level. It's internal. It has nothing to do with grades. It has to do with awareness. And that is what is most important as we enter into a world that is changing. There's a story about two fish in a pond. And these two fish are swimming along happily and just chatting away. And then an older fish swims across. Says, "Good morning, boys. How's the water?" They look at each other and say, "What the hell is water?" You know, they're living in that whole environment and not aware of what it is, not aware of what they have. We are doing the same thing. Have we been looking at the world in which we live? Most have not been. And thus, nature comes and says, let's slow down, let's take a look. Let's see what is really going on. Let's increase our awareness so that we can make better choices, make better decisions about how to work with life in order to achieve lasting happiness. I honor in a very deep, sincere way that each one of you chose to come to the Living Wisdom High School in Palo Alto. Each one perhaps had different reasons, but there was something that drew you to being in a school which was looking for something more than just success in grades. Success in grades is important, and you've accomplished that. That is part of it. And in the meantime, you're developing your brain power, your concentration, your ability to reason, your ability to remember, your ability to relate to other realities, your ability to listen inside, to develop greater awareness of who you are, who others are, how you connect, how you are connected. So many things lead to true lasting happiness. And in your experience at the Living Wisdom High School, you've begun to touch upon those elements. And I'll say, you've begun. There is a journey ahead of you. This journey has to do with a world that will not be as it was. Remember, all of you are part of this next step in the journey. You will be confronted with situations that are confusing, that are out of the norm, out of the box, that are unknown. The water will get muddy, and you'll wonder what to do. And yet, if the mind remains optimistic and connected to a source of happiness inside, a solution will be found. One thing that I've always seen, but I've explored even further here, is the understanding that in order to empower a child's brain, to help consciousness develop, to open intuition, to strengthen concentration and awareness, to develop connectivity between individual beings and feel a wholeness inside. What's the key? The key that we all need to have is meditation. And I know you've heard this, but it is very true. As we're entering into this next phase of life for this planet, we need to be meditating. We need to be able to come back to that center where there is tremendous potential, where, in fact, I must say, it's not potential happiness anymore. There is a source of happiness, of purity, of tremendous strength that is residing inside. I know it to be true. I've experienced it. And I see it in others who have been able to accomplish that. The key to opening that door is your meditation. So above all else, this is what I would encourage. There's a comedian I heard about a while back, and she went to give a commencement speech, and she said, you know, I never graduated from college, and here I am giving a speech. I guess it's because I'm rich and I'm famous. And she said, I wasn't even sure what commencement means. So I looked it up. That's what she said. And I saw, oh, commencement. There are two words that have come together for that one word. Common cement. Common cement. So that's fun. But actually there might be something to what she had to say. Cement. There's something solid that's within. Cement can be used to build a base, to build a structure, an infrastructure that can be long-lasting if done properly. If in the center of that cement wall you have the rebar, which is the metal that strengthens it, gives it solid support, that's like your spine, the strength within your own self. And you begin to build your understanding. You begin to build your inner strength and your outer knowledge, both. They come together in a certain way that cement becomes very powerful. Let's take cement, the cement of love, the cement of inner power, of mind, of heart, of body. Bring all of these together and find that we can build a life that is solid, that is enduring, that can tower above all the mundane realities in this world. Let us build a very high tower together. A tower that reaches up toward the sun, that rises above all the issues that we see that we can get caught into in this world, that can drown us in loneliness, that can cause so great pain inside of confusion. Those things have happened to all of us at different times. But there is a way out, and that's going above. And the key to going above is developing the inner power. And it's not even developing it as much as it is discovering it, because each one of us possesses that power within. I know it. I've seen it in you. And if there's anything that I would want for each one of you, above all else, is for you to find out who you are. Because truly, you are some of the most beautiful people in the world. You're some of the most magnificent beings. I love each and every one of you. You are in my prayers, in my thoughts, in my hopes. I anticipate that you're going to have a life of tremendous evolution, of awakening, of success, a life of long-term, lasting happiness. Go inside, meditate, find it, become it. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Kabir. Okay, friends, we're entering into our graduation ceremony now for our 4 seniors. I'll introduce each of them, and then they have some words to share with us as well. Our first speaker today will be Arman Azad Ahmed. Arman was one of the first students to choose Living Wisdom High School when we opened our doors. He and his family took a leap of faith, and we are so glad that they did. Arman is a bright and intellectually curious young man. He has a passion for political science, economics, international relations, and law. Arman is a delightful humorist, an engaging conversationalist. He values service and carries within himself a strong sense of justice. As such, he plans to pursue a career in political science and law. Arman is a recipient of the AP Scholar Award. He completed his course of study early in January of this year and is graduating from Living Wisdom High School with honors distinction. He will attend Santa Clara University in the fall. Arman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Keshama. It is rather incredible to sit before all of you here today. Graduation is something that is often looked at as being in the distant future and which creeps up upon you when you least expect it. Luckily for me, I always did keep one eye on the future, despite it being distant, knowing that graduation was something inevitable to come. At Living Wisdom, I was presented with an environment which allowed me to develop a strong sense of justice. Several school values centered around humanity and justice. These ideals were propagated through the idolizing of people who have contributed to the world. As students, service learning was a way that we made our ideals become practical action. From my earliest age, I've always had a strong committed sense for justice. Justice is an important trait that certainly should be considered in the present times of 2020. 2020 has begun with one of the deadliest pandemics in modern history, as well as yet another racial war, developing great animosity between humanity. Such pressing matters obviously require a strong sense of justice and compassion from all citizens of the world to remedy these pressing issues and to heal the greatest sufferings in humankind. Qualities that all people should have are not to cave under peer pressure, not to support acts that are morally wrong. Such acts are unjust. Reflecting upon myself, I do not cave into peer pressure, often strongly holding and fighting for my own opinions. In retrospect, I've often found myself arguing on behalf of justice when holding my own opinions in my various political discussions that I had with classmates and teachers. Particularly, I would discuss matters such as gender equality and the dodgy actions of Wall Street. These discussions do not mean I'm a communist, however. Having a strong sense of justice shall be a lifelong trait of mine that I'll carry with me on my way to university. It will be my own guide for all my future actions. I'd like to thank my family, as well as the dedicated teachers and staff at Living Wisdom, in particular Mr. Kabir McDowell, for helping nurture and inspire my sense of justice. Because of them, I have grown into the person I am today. Thank you.
Congratulations, Armand. Is your family with you right there? If so, let's go back to the spotlight on Armand and let's have a presentation of your diploma. So go ahead, Munir, and present your son with his honors diploma.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Living Wisdom High School. Here is the certificate.
Oh, beautiful. And if the lei is there, will you also place it around his neck as an expression of friendship and love?
Yes, the mom is bringing that.
Beautiful. And your quality certificate is there as well. Good.
Congratulations, Armand.
Beautiful. We're so happy for you.
It is good to see Kabir live today. Thank you so much for everything, and Kashama and everybody.
Great love to you all.
And
Diego?
I wanted to say, Living Wisdom High School is LWHS. It's actually lovable, wonderful, honorable staff.
Hello, Kabir. It was nice seeing you today. Thank you, Kashama, and thank you, the whole school. Thank you again. Really appreciate what you did for us.
Many, many congratulations. Our next speaker is Diego Lopez Ramos. Diego is a man of many talents and interests. He loves literature, mathematics, and the sciences, and embraces any opportunity to dive below the surface to uncover new understandings. Diego carries within him a quiet dignity and refinement. He's deeply kind and thoughtful, understanding the needs and motivations of those around him. He has also emerged as a key leader in our community this year. During his high school career, he received the President's Award for his hours of outstanding community service. Our only regret is that he was not with us longer. Diego is passionate about computer science and cryptography. He has chosen computer science and math as his intended major in college with the aim of becoming a cybersecurity analyst. We celebrate his love of learning. In the fall, Diego will bless Chapman University with his presence.
Thank you, Kshama. This year has been one full of new experiences and opportunities to grow. I could have never expected this year to have so many twists and turns, but in the end, I still finished the year succeeding in a way that I'm proud of. Of course, this was only possible with the help and support of this wonderful community of living wisdom. My friends and my classmates, my mentors and my teachers, my family and my girlfriend, all of which who I'm lucky to have watching me right now. High school wasn't always easy, but living wisdom has helped me feel more prepared to continue on my journey in becoming the best person I can be. My year at Living Wisdom was a valuable and meaningful experience. Not only did I learn a lot from Living Wisdom, I was also able to develop a deep passion for learning, which is the quality I have been honored for. I have always treasured good teachers, but in my experience, they've been rare until I joined Living Wisdom. Here at Living Wisdom, I feel like I gained something special from every teacher, and I'll forever be grateful for that. I'd first like to thank you, Hazi, for sharing your passion for math with me. I've always had an interest in math, but you went above and beyond when it came to fueling my curiosity. When I asked you for help with a math problem, it has always developed into an in-depth explanation of why and how things work, instead of just handing me formulas to memorize. I've been extremely fortunate to work with you and learn with you, and I know I'll continue carrying this interest for math in college and beyond. I also want to extend my appreciation to you, Diana, for always keeping physics connected to real life with interactive and extremely creative experiments. You rekindled my forgotten enjoyment for science and taught me the importance of communication and time management. I'm glad to have been your student, and I'm excited to see where these skills lead me. I'm going to university soon, something that almost feels unreal. I'll be majoring in computer science, which will definitely not be easy, but I'm excited for it knowing that I'm prepared to face challenges head on. I'm eager to discover all the things that I'll learn in the next 4 years and all the people who I'll connect with. There's so many things I could do, so many paths I could go down, and I'm excited and grateful for all the opportunities that Living Wisdom has opened for me. Finally, to all those who I haven't mentioned by name, to all those who are cheering me on right now, you've also had a profound effect on my enthusiasm towards learning. You made this year exciting and memorable, and I have learned so much from all of you. I hope to make you proud of the next steps I take in life, carrying with me the love for learning that's inspired me this whole year. Thank you.
Congratulations, Diego. Beautiful. You did it.
Thank you so much, Kshama and Living Wisdom. We're so proud of him and we're so grateful for you.
It's mutual. Congratulations, Diego. What a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Our next graduate is Iris Huang. Iris has been at Living Wisdom High School for the past 2 years. She is academically strong and versatile, self-motivated and thoughtful. She is a mature young woman whose gentle smile will light up the entire room. Iris has inspired all of us with her determination to tackle even the most challenging of subjects, leaning into the experience with efficiency, power, and grace. She is a shining example of true friendship. Everyone feels safe, relaxed, and deeply cared for in her presence. For her community service, Iris received the Gold President's Volunteer Service Award during her high school years. She is also celebrated as an AP Scholar with honors. Iris is lighthearted and loves to laugh. Her characteristic cartoon drawings often grace our whiteboards, bringing a playful energy into the classroom. As Iris moves forward into college, she plans to study psychology and art. She graduates Living Wisdom High School with the distinction of high honors. In the fall, Iris will join the community of learners at UC San Diego. Congratulations, Iris.
Thank you, Kashama. Ralph Ellison, with his enlightened mind, once said, "When I discover who I am, I'll be free." Everyone desires some level of freedom. Freedom from work, freedom to say what they desire. But I don't often hear about the freedom of having reached full self-discovery, yet it's something one can always work on and have full control over. This school year, I applied to colleges, and as I was writing my essays, I realized, wow, I don't know who I am, and underwent a mini identity crisis. For the first time, I dedicated time to being aware of what I gravitate towards, what I don't, and various aspects of myself. I did these why chains, where I write one true fact about myself, and below it, write why that statement is true, delving deeper and deeper into my thinking process and actions. I had so many whoa moments, it was amazing. For instance, I never understood why I wanted to be noticed but unnoticed at the same time. Through the process, I realized I wanted to be noticed as a normal person but unnoticed when my flaws show up. Flaws I don't necessarily hide, but don't show right off the bat, leading to some feelings of guilt, because in a way I feel like I deceived others, which connects also to why I give off an impersonal aura. The more I came to know about myself, the more I understood Ellison's quote about the freedom caused by self-discovery. I also became more stable as I progressed. Instead of being unsure about who I am, I knew myself and naturally gained confidence as that knowing deepened. I saw my strengths and my weaknesses. I was more grounded. During college decision season, people post introductions on Facebook groups to start making connections and friends. As someone who changed her mind too many times on what college to go to, I posted introductions at different times. I can see the later my introduction was posted, the more true to myself it was, and how freeing it felt to not put on an act so often. Before, I would suppress a lot of my thoughts and actions to prevent conflicts, to be more likable, and to try to find an identity, but it was tiring. Behaving in line with who I am instead of acting is so much more relaxing and feels right. I only scratched the surface of self-discovery, and I already feel a lot more confident and happy. As I go on into college, get a job, and more, I'll be more aware of who I am and what I can do in the world. It's a long journey to discover oneself, and I expect mine will take at least many decades to come. But I'm glad I have started. Thank you.
Congratulations, Iris. Your presentation of the diploma. There's your diploma. Congratulations, Rachel. Beautiful. And your quality certificate. You did it. You made it all the way through, shining. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank
you. Okay. And our last graduate today, Lindsay Ann Badgett. Lindsay arrived at Living Wisdom last fall and immediately captured the hearts in this community with her dynamic presence. She is charismatic, kind, and full of life. She's also a determined and self-motivated student who is both responsible and proactive. She's a prolific poet, self-publishing her first collection of poetry this year. Lindsay's personal commitment to being a positive force in the world shows through her care for the environment. Living her ideals, Lindsay manifests her personal activism through a purely plant-based diet. She dreams of exploring the oceans and becoming a marine biologist in her quest to protect and heal the earth. Being both willful and willing, Lindsay has the power to bring into reality every dream that she can imagine. We look forward to her visiting Living Wisdom High School in the future. She will be a student at San Jose State University next year.
Thank you, Kashama. My time at Living Wisdom High School has been short yet full of enrichment and growth. Through my time here, I have become not only as a student, but as Lindsay Badgett, a great storyteller and powerful young adult. Transferring to this school was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. It has allowed me to grow as a person and develop as a student. When I heard that willpower is the quality I received, I was through the roof. To me, willpower is a defining quality, which means having the ability to control oneself. Through my maturity, I express willpower, and I'm always finding new ways to practice it. Every day I'm growing more and becoming more of an adult, and with being an adult comes having the control over what you say and do. When I was in Hawaii in the summer of 2016, I decided to become vegan the day that I got back, which was a shock to everyone because I'd always loved meat and cheese. My sisters even made bets on how long I would last, giving me no more than 2 weeks. However, my mind was made up that this was the best decision for me and the environment. Here I am about 4 years later, still eating all plant-based and resisting temptation, staying true to my morals every day. Someone that I look up to is Michelle Obama for her willpower that she has expressed through her life. Being the First Lady for years came with great responsibility and change for her life that she used to create a platform for children all around the world to stay active and healthy. I was and still am learning from her actions. I'm no stranger to reaching for my goals, even if it means 40-minute car rides in the morning to De Anza to take a marine biology course, or putting the rawest form of myself out there for the world to see. Without this school, I would not have even thought about getting a step ahead with attending a college class or been as guided in my college search process. I owe a lot to Living Wisdom High School, and I am proud to say that I'm a graduate from here. I would like to share a quote with everyone that I live by every day. If you have a dream, don't just sit there. Gather the courage to believe that you can succeed and leave no stone unturned to make it a reality. Thank you.
Congratulations, Lindsay.
Thank you.
You did it. Congratulations.
And yes, I'm crying.
And so, friends and family, we invite you to celebrate with us Armand, Diego, Iris, and Lindsay, the Living Wisdom High School class of 2020. Congratulations, everyone. We wish you a wonderful year ahead. Please go out with love, dear friends. We will meet again, and we hope very soon. Now go out and celebrate. You did it. Have a wonderful summer. Go with love, everyone. Goodbye.
Congratulations. Goodbye.